Hey, what's up everybody? The second selection box for August is here and you have until August the 26th end of day to get one of these selection zooms. And this one is unique because they're all going to be princesses. So the thing that doesn't change is there's 12 different variations of princesses in this selection box. So there are some in here that you definitely want to try to get. It is going to enhance your gameplay and will help you get through some of those bingos and missions. So there are 3 in here that I do recommend you to get. So let's jump right into it and actually look at the 12 zooms that are in here. The first one we have Cinderella. Next we have Tiana, Charm Belle, Mulan-Warrior, Bride Rapunzel, and Merida. So these are going to be the first 6. The next 6 we have is Enchanted Aurora, Ariel, Snow White, Jasmine, Pocahontas, and Moana. Now my top 3 out of these 12, number 1 will be Cinderella, number 2 is Moana, and number 3 will be Charm Belle. Now let me tell you why. So I like Cinderella because Cinderella technically you can make infinity time bubbles if you play her right. And the game really could go on forever. Check out other people's videos and you will see that those gameplays are just insane. They go on forever. And number 2, I have Moana. And the reason why I like Moana is because she makes a lot of score bubbles. So if you need a zoom that makes a lot of score bubbles, especially those missions that are a little bit more difficult, Moana is going to be a good one. She essentially is the best score bubble maker in this game, so you definitely should try to get her. And then number 3, I have Charm Belle because it's a charm zoom, so charm zooms are just automatically better because it's a free 5-4. But out of these 12, Charm Belle is the best for coins. So if you are looking for a zoom that gets a lot of coins, then really Charm Belle is your best solution here. But Cinderella technically is better at getting coins, but it's going to take you a lot longer to outproceed it. So like your coin earning potential versus time spent is better with Charm Belle versus Cinderella. And I decided to max out all the princesses here. I already had most of them maxed out, but I just decided to just max them all out. So right now I do have all of these princess zooms all maxed out to show you guys which ones are better. But let's get into it and take a look at every one of these zooms. And if you want to skip ahead, check out the little slide bar or in the description below and you can jump ahead to the right zooms that you're really looking for. So the first zoom we're going to take a look at is Cinderella. Now Cinderella, like I mentioned, will make a lot of time bubbles and these games will go on forever. This gameplay you're watching is a skill level 6 Cinderella gameplay, and what you want to do when you have Cinderella's ability activated is slide your finger from left side to the right side, end to end, and you want to try to avoid hitting any areas that have bubbles. Ultimately, you want to get anywhere between 9 to 11 chains because that's the range where a lot of time bubbles do spawn. As you could tell, it comes down to luck sometimes. You may get lucky and get a lot of time bubbles, sometimes you may not. I'm also not a very fast player. So if you are a fast player that could scout out all the Cinderellas and connect these really long chains, your ability to make more time bubbles significantly increases. And if you could really lock down at getting 9 to 11 chains, sliding from left to right, you will optimize your ability to get more time bubbles. And there is a time bubble mission right now in this month's event where if you have Cinderella, it could be useful. And during her ability, you should be able to activate anywhere between 6 to 7 swipes, getting you about 6 to 7 magic bubbles on the screen. And in theory, if you get the right amount and maximize your bubble making, you should be able to get that amount of time bubbles. And the reason why these gameplays could go on forever is like, just imagine every time bubble adds, I think, what, 2 seconds to the game. So if you, every time you play, you create a bubble and you add that time, imagine if all your time bubbles are plus 2 seconds, your gameplay will essentially go to infinity. And I have seen gameplays online where people play for hours and get this ridiculous score on the scoreboard. So unless you really care about getting a really high score, then really Cinderella is not necessarily that great. And I'm going to skip ahead here to the very end and just show you the coins that I did get for this particular game. At the end of this gameplay, I did get 1,522. So not necessarily great for coins. I also didn't really spend too long on this game. I spent about 3 minutes to play this game. And yeah, 3 minutes for 1,522 coins. Not really that great. Jedi Luke definitely supersede that. So not necessarily the best coin earner, but definitely one of the best, if not the best, time bubble maker in the game. Next, we have Tiana from The Princess and the Frog. And the ability description for Tiana is that she will clear a vertical line of Tsum Tsum. And Tiana is a very simple Tsum to use. All you really have to do is just make sure the center middle area has a lot of Tsums lined up, and essentially she will clear a bunch of Tsums. Tiana, right now I do have her at skill level 6, and the skill range is extra large. And this is a good Tsum for beginners because it is a vertical blast Tsum, so there's not a lot of thinking to it. Just like I just mentioned, just make sure the center area has a lot of Tsum, and then blast away. So another good thing about Tiana is that the charge up time is relatively low, and you just essentially charge up as quick as possible and then blast it in the center area. Not too much to it. And then for Tiana, she's okay for coins. For a skill level 6, not that great. Right now I am playing at skill level 6, and at the end of this gameplay I only got 2,172 coins. I'm also playing with the 5-4 on and the coin boost, so really not necessarily the best one for coins out of this 12 box, but on the better side actually. Compared to the other 12 Tsums that are in there, Tiana is in the middle pack. Next, we have Charm Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and the ability description for Belle is that she will clear a horizontal line of Tsum Tsum. At skill level 6, her ability is skill range extra large, so the sideway blast will be a lot thicker. So very similar to Tiana, the ability, you just want to make sure the center area has a lot of Tsums. In this case, it's horizontal, so middle horizontal has a lot of Tsums. Now, Belle Charm is better than all the other Tsums out there currently to get coins because not only is she a Charm Tsum, but her charge up time is really low. So having a low charge up time, and there is 2 opportunities for you to essentially charge up the bar because you could get the books and also Belle itself. Now, I have gotten the question from people, what is a Charm Tsum and why are they better than others? And I can explain that. A Charm Tsum, essentially you're playing with a free 5-4, and also you have an increased chance of getting the Charm Tsums on the screen. If you look on the screen, there are 2 brown Tsums on the screen right now. You have Belle, as well as Belle's Charm, which is the book. And you could connect the book along with Belle, and they will make a long chain. And the book, as well as Belle, when they're connected, will go to the charge up bar. So not only are you only playing with 3 different variations of Tsums on the screen, but you have an increased chance of charging up your ability as well. So that's why a lot of times Charm Tsums are a lot easier to use and a lot more popular than the non-charm versions. So yeah, Belle, at the end of this gameplay, I was able to get 3,362 coins for this particular gameplay. It's the best coin earner out of all 12 of these Tsums, with the exception of, I guess, Cinderella with the asterisks, because you can't really count that. But yeah, Belle Charm is really the best one for coins if you are looking for a very simple Tsum to use and to get a lot of coins. And that's why I rated Belle Charm as my number 3 Tsums to get. But honestly, in this selection box, you could really, the top 3, it really depends on your gameplay style and what you already have now. Next, we have Mulan-Warrior from Mulan. And the ability description for Mulan-Warrior is that Mulan Tsums turn into Hua-Jun Tsums for a short period, clears a horizontal line of Tsums when connected. So the ability is actually really cool. So the animation is really cool. Unfortunately, outside of that, Mulan-Warrior is kind of useless for coins. So let me show you right here the ability. Essentially, Mulan turns into Hua-Jun. If you connect Hua-Juns together, the slash is thicker. If you don't connect Hua-Juns, and let's say like you connect only the aliens in this case, the slash is a little bit thinner. So that's the difference there. If you play this gameplay right and you just connect all the lines very quickly, you could get a lot of slashes out. Really, the strategy here is that you want to make sure you get a lot of slashes in and connect Hua-Juns or Mulans as much as possible in all of these gameplays. Unfortunately, Mulan-Warrior just really isn't that great of a Tsum though. She's not going to be great for coins or anything like that. And in this demo right now, this slash that you see here, I was able to get a lot of slashes in because I was connecting a lot of lines very quickly. So if you could somehow master this and not hit any of the gaps and get a lot of Mulans, then really Mulan-Warrior is not going to be great for coins and not really great for abilities either, and not good for mission and bingo. So unfortunately, I would have to say Mulan-Warrior is a pass, and that's unfortunate because Mulan is a pretty good character from the Disney series. At the end of this gameplay, I only got 924 coins, so definitely very low. So because of that, I would say pass on Mulan. Next, we have Bride Rapunzel from Tangled, and the ability description is she will clear a vertical line of Tsum Tsum. Now, the ability description is relatively similar, actually identical to Tiana, but they look very different, and Bride Rapunzel has a really cool animation. And check this out, when you activate her ability, a bunch of lanterns really fly to the sky. And the cool thing about this ability is that you don't have to prepare for it because it's just all over the place. As long as you have a lot of Tsums on the screen, you will get a lot of chains, therefore increasing your coin earning potential. So that's one of the reasons why I really like Bride Rapunzel, is you don't have to prepare for it, and in theory, you will get more coins using Bride Rapunzel versus Tiana. And also just like the animation is so cool. You have a bunch of lanterns just fly up into the sky, so I really like that, and they're not flying very slow either. One of the strategy to using Bride Rapunzel is essentially just activate the ability and spamming the ability button before you actually activate the ability, because that will go into the next charger bar if you have any residual Tsums that gets charged. Like right there, you just saw I activate the ability, but before I even started the next ability, I already had it kind of charged up, like right there again. So you definitely want to just spam the ability button before your bar gets fully charged in any of the Tsums that really requires next bar charging. So at the end of this gameplay for Bride Rapunzel, I got 2,282 coins, which is pretty good. It is in the middle range towards the high side out of these 12 Tsums, so if you get Bride Rapunzel, it's actually good. It's not my top 3, but it's pretty close. Next, we have Merida from the Brave series, and the ability description for Merida is that she will turn random Tsum Tsum into Will-O-the-Wisps and clear them in one go. I do have her at skill level 6, so what that means is that she will clear or change a total of 20 different Tsums on the screen into Will-O-the-Wisps. So they're kind of the little blue guys, and they're kind of like the ghost and spirity things on the screen, which is kind of cool. So one of the cool thing about this is you literally don't have to prepare for the ability. Just spam it as much as possible, and you're always going to be guaranteed 26 regardless of what you do. So there's really no preparation for it. It's similar to like those Tsums where it just clear random Tsum. In this case, it's very similar. It turns 26 Tsums into the little blue guys, and then you tap the little blue guys and then they disappear. So one of the strategies to using this is like the just like the Bride Rapunzel, is you want to spam the ability button as soon as the charger bar is close to getting full, because you don't want any additional Tsums going to the next charger bar. So that's really the strategy to using Merida. I do really like her ability. It's very simple to use. Currently at skill level 6, I was able to get 2,390 coins, so which is a viable Tsum to use for coin earning. And also it's very easy, and the amount of time it takes to finish a game is relatively fair. So Merida is also another good Tsum to have to add to your arsenal. Next, we have Enchanted Aurora from the Maleficent series. The ability description for Enchanted Aurora is Maleficent Tsums that can be connected with Enchanted Aurora appears. Clear surrounding Tsum Tsum when connected. So I currently have her at skill level 6, and you need to get a total of 16 Tsums in order for you to activate her ability. Now, if you do have her at different skill levels, then you're going to need more Tsums than I do. Essentially, as you level her up, the amount of Tsums that you need to activate her ability decreases. Now, one of the cool things about Enchanted Aurora is that not only will she blast or clear Tsums in her little area in the line that you connected, but it will blast Tsums that are around it as well. So it's kind of like the Birthday Annas, where they blast surrounding Tsums. I think all the Maleficent Tsums actually do this, but they clear surrounding Tsums as well. So that's one of the cool things. So if you are a player that really is good at connecting long chains, then this is a really good Tsum to use. And one of the strategies to using Enchanted Aurora is that you want to make sure that there are a lot of Enchanted Auroras on the screen first before you activate the ability, because that way you can connect a really long chain. I didn't do that in this demonstration. I'm also not a player that's really good at playing fast and connecting really long chains, but if you are, you definitely could utilize that for Enchanted Aurora. and earn a lot of coins, because the longer the chains, the more coins you're gonna get. Especially with her blast ability and clearing surrounding Tsums, you should be able to clear a lot of Tsums on the screen. And if you're able to clear like 40 in the 40 range per game or per chain or per ability, you definitely will earn a lot of coins. For me, because I'm not that good at connecting chains and also just spotting those Princess Aura, and also in this gameplay, I actually didn't wait. I should have waited to make sure there's a lot of Enchanted Aura before I activate the ability. But because I didn't, I only got 1,632 coins for this particular gameplay. But I'm curious to see what other players who are good at using this Tsum will get. So let me know in the comments below if you are good at using Enchanted Aura. Next, we have Ariel from Little Mermaid, and the ability description for Ariel is that she will clear a circle of Tsum Tsum. And I currently have Ariel at skill level 6, and so the skill range is going to be extra large. I really think that the animation is really cute. What happens essentially is that Ariel will go from the left to right, and she does like this loop-de-loop in the middle. It makes a little circle, and then ends up going to the right side as well. So it kind of acts as a center for a horizontal blast, kind of like those kind of burst Tsums. So essentially the strategy is very similar to those Tsums where it's a horizontal clear, is you want to just make sure the center area has a lot of Tsums. The reason for that is because the longer the chain, the more coins you're going to get. And with Ariel, you would be using Ariel for the purpose of getting a lot of coins. So you just want to make sure you maximize the chains that you're potentially going to get when using Ariel. Currently at skill level 6, I was able to get a total of 2,433 coins for this particular gameplay. So Ariel is going to be a viable Tsum to earn coins at skill level 6. Now, is it worth it to invest all your tokens to get Ariel to skill level 6? Maybe, maybe not, depending on your preference. But it is viable for skill level 6. Next, we have Snow White from the Snow White series, and the ability description is tap the dwarves to clear surrounding Tsum Tsum. I currently have Snow White at skill level 6, so the number of dwarves that will show up is going to be 7. The higher your ability, the more dwarves that are going to show up. And let me show you what I mean by the dwarves, or what the ability looks like. So when you activate the ability at skill level 6, there are going to be 7 dwarves that will show up. And during this time, you will need to tap on the dwarves in order for you to pop the bubbles that are around. And one of my recommendations to popping these dwarves is there is a system to it. You want to start at the very top, and then you want to go from left to right, and you want to alternate that. And the reason for that is you want to maximize the areas where it clears. So popping the top one first, you'll guarantee that that part is full. And then the left hand side, because the Tsums has already settled, then really that's the area you want to target. And then you want to go to the other side, because that will give time for the left side to settle down. But essentially you want to go from top and then alternate left and right, and then pop the center ones. That way it gives the Tsums a little bit of time to settle down. So that's the strategy I would use when using Snow White to maximize the popping potential to earn you a decent amount of coins. With that in mind, with the coins, I do have her at skill level 6. I only got 1,518 coins, so not necessarily that great for coins, but it is a fun Tsum to use, and there is a lot of popping going on. So if you like that, then definitely try to get Snow White. Next, we have Jasmine from the Aladdin series. And Jasmine, her ability will clear a horizontal line of Disney Tsum Tsum. It's kind of interesting that in this case, they wrote Disney in the Tsum Tsum. In other Tsums, they just write Tsum Tsum. But it could be because Jasmine is one of the earlier Tsums, so they just added the word Disney in there. But anyways, getting off track here. Jasmine at skill level 6. I do have her at skill level 6, and the ability skill range will be extra large. So the blast radius is going to be pretty big. So similarly, it is a horizontal clear, so kind of like Charm Belle without the charm piece. She will clear the center horizontal area, and it's kind of in a S shape because Aladdin will come in as well, and they fly on the magic carpet, and they clear in a S shape because they're flying on the carpet. So I really like the animation, and the blast radius is pretty big as well. Jasmine is a really good character to have, especially for beginners, and even not at skill level 6, she is pretty good. Skill range is a little bit smaller, but it's still pretty good. So one of the strategy in using Jasmine essentially is just make sure the center area has a lot of zooms, similar to other horizontal clearing zooms, because what happens is during the animation it freezes. So you just want to make sure that before you activate the ability that the area where the magic carpet's going to hit, there's going to be a lot of zooms. The bottom area is not as crucial because the bottom doesn't get cleared. The reason why you want to wait a little bit is because you want to maximize the chain that you're going to get. Essentially translates into coin earning potential. So in that case you just saw there, I waited 1 to 2 seconds because I wanted to make sure that there were a lot of zooms. So that's the strategy. In this particular gameplay, I did end up with 2,315 coins. So very viable. If you play faster and strategize better, you definitely could get more coins than this. Next, we have Pocahontas from the Pocahontas series. And the ability description for Pocahontas is all Tsum Tsum connected while the time is stopped are cleared as one chain. I currently have her at skill level 6, so what will happen is that the time frozen will be 5 seconds, and you will need a total of 20 Tsums to activate her ability. And as you level up Pocahontas, the amount of Tsums that you need to activate her ability will decrease, and additional time will increase during the frozen animation. So the ability you might have just saw there, but what happens is the game will stop or freeze during the ability, and essentially you want to connect as many chain as possible. And what's interesting here is once you clear them, the game treats it as it's already a clear Tsum where it would have fell, so you connect other chains. So you might even see that you might connect like Pooh on the bottom left hand corner, but you can connect all the way to the right side because the game thinks that you've already cleared all those invisible ones. And then what happens is when the game resumes, so in my case after 5 seconds has ticked away, everything that you've connected will count as one chain. So in theory, if you're able to clear everything, then you will get a chain of 45. And you could technically get a chain of 45 every single time if you're able to clear everything on the screen in 45 seconds. So here is a good example. I got 34, which is pretty high for a clearing Tsum. So if you're good at clearing Tsums and connecting long chains, then Pocahontas is a really good Tsum for you. But for me, I'm not necessarily that great. So Pocahontas at skill level 6, I was only able to get 1,860 coins. But I'm sure that if you are good at connecting chains and playing faster, then you could definitely get a lot more coins. Last but not least, we have Moana from the Moana series. And her ability description is she will clear a horizontal line of Tsum Tsum, turning Moana Tsum Tsums into bubbles. And the skill range I have her at skill level 6, so skill range is extra large, and I need 8 Tsums to activate her ability, so very little. Now one of the strategy to using Moana is don't just spam the ability, and because Moana clears the bottom area like right here that you see there, you want to make sure that area has a lot of other Moanas. So typically what I do is I have the ability activated and I clear other Tsums so that the Moanas could fall down to the middle or the bottom area actually. And then once I have the Moanas all at the bottom, then I activate it so I get all these score bubbles. Look right there, I probably got like 9 or 10 or 11. So that's a strategy. It turns all the Moanas at the bottom into score bubbles. Moana is not necessarily great for coins. You would really get Moana for the purpose of making a lot of score bubbles. Moana is going to be the best Tsum to get score bubbles. So if you are struggling with those missions to get a lot of score bubbles, then just get one Moana. Even Moana at skill level 1 is going to be extremely useful to help you get through those tough missions where you need to get like 10, 14 score bubbles in one play. Because sometimes that means like activating 14 abilities for other Tsums. But in this case, you just need to get like one ability and make sure you line up all the Moanas at the bottom and then activate the ability at the very end here. So that's why Moana is on my top 3 list and rated her as my number 2 for the purpose of bingo and also for missions. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope that you guys found this video helpful or at least entertaining in determining which Princess Tsum you want to get. And if you guys would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, where I review pickup capsules, selection box, and sometimes I even play these games live. So if you want to follow along or just really enjoy Tsum Tsums in general, then definitely don't forget to subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching.